let's get started with Thormun's journal entries 15 through 17. And before we start reading, I do want to and I asked Jeremy this before the stream, so got the answer. If you notice, journal entry 15 and 16 both start with the same paragraph, and we'll discuss that in a second. But basically, long story short, the paragraph should only be in 15, not in 16. So we'll read accordingly to that. So who wants to start on 15?
I can start.
All right, go ahead, Jeremy.
Also, my camera's not working, so I was trying to hit live on the camera, and it was not. It kept kicking me out, so it's just my voice for today, I think.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, so journal entry 15. After Jandar left, we quickly took flight, heading east towards the great castle of Ular in northwestern Ekstrom. After a half-day's journey, we were welcomed into the castle by Ular. Ular is a loyal and trusted ally, for Jandar's family and his family have been friends for generations.
All right. Next paragraph. Who would like to do? Okay, you want to do it again, Jeremy?
Yeah, I can finish it up.
Okay.
In the great hall of Ular's castle, we enjoyed a great feast. Ular introduced us to Kairi, Sayland, and Belding, and 4 odd-looking creatures, Savaris, Sonlin, Quintella, and Jordan. We asked if Ular had received word from Dorudian, the emissary sent weeks ago. According to Ular, he never reached the castle. He has been busy recruiting heroes and armies from other worlds and eras, warriors engaged in battle, usually in mortal danger and within seconds of death.
All right.
The first hero he saved from another world was Savaris. Savaris said to us, "Ular saved me when I was about to lose my head in battle with Krug, an evil troll from my home world of Phaland. I am a Thinkalan elf, and I will fight for Ular for as long as he requires my services. Someday, I would like to return to my home, but I do not know if this will be possible."
All right. And the last one,
Cody, that's your
Cody, do you want to do it?
I actually don't have that pulled up.
Okay.
I'm prepared on that.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll read journal entry 17. See here, our story is much the same as that of Savaris. We were ambushed and surrounded by a large squad of Anubian wolves, and just as they were about to kill us, we were rescued by Ular. We, like many other elves, have willingly joined Ular's army, but we have grown fearful that we are losing the war on Phaland. Quintella Gwen, and all 3 of these journal entries, 15, 16, and 17, was written by Quintella. Is that correct?
So journal entry 17 is Quintella's direct quote.
Right.
Pretty sure. Yeah, 15 and 16 is still Thormun.
Okay, still
He's
Thormun.
narrating and then at the very end, it's like Savaris starts to speak in the middle of entry 16.
Right. I would love to do that, but my throat right now, I think if I try to do a high-pitched Sylvaris, I don't think my throat would last it. Although, no, let me see. I am a Thilkin. How do you say that?
I always say Thilkian.
Okay. I am a Thilkian elf.
Yeah.
And I will fight for Ular for as long as he requires my services. Someday, I would like to return to my home, but I do not know if this will be possible. Something like that. That is, yeah. That voice takes a lot of work.
Honestly, amazing.
I was expecting an Orlando Bloom impression because he's known as Legolas in my house.
Right. Well, for the comedy aspect for Tales of Valhalla, I gave Sylvaris kind of like an anti-Legolas appeal. So everything that Legolas was, smooth, and everything. Yeah, Sylvaris just be the exact opposite. If anybody thinks that insults his character, I apologize. I am the one voicing him, so I'm insulting myself. But it's just for the comedy and kind of gives a little twist on some of the main characters. So anyway, let's talk about this a little bit. This story. So traveling. I'm going to. We're going to Uller's territory, basically, in this.
Yeah, Ekstrom. Yeah. Ekstrom is Uller's. He's Arch-Kyrie, actually. So he's basically leading authority, government of that nation.
All right, that was my guess. So you're going to talk a little bit background about Jandar or Yandar. Their family and Uller's family have been friends for generations, so very close allies.
Right.
Let's see here. Uller's castle. That would be interesting to see. What else? So
yeah, it's like the one thing that I feel like we're missing is just like more visuals of what Valhalla really looks like.
Yes.
I always wanted like an Utgard like an evil castle, just same thing, just painted black. You know, I've seen it done. They look great, but
yeah,
for sure. Yep. Always need more terrain. Now there's lots of
on that the Cyverish Krug encounter, by the way, I believe Jeremy may know this. I believe there was a webisode, or not, maybe not a webisode, but there was a cartoon of
it was
that encounter.
It was one of the they made the animation for both. I think it was available on the website, and it was also used in the commercial.
Right.
Yeah.
They aired the commercial for, I think there was a campaign sometime during, I think it was Cartoon Network, is where they aired the commercial first.
Yeah.
And during that commercial, you see Savaris about to get killed by Krug, but then summoned immediately.
Right.
And then so that frame is in two different forms of media. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It did come from the webisode. So
that's the nostalgia.
Oh yeah. A lot of this journal entry connects to the existing media that was available on the website, because you mentioned the webisode, the lore with the Anubian wolves and stuff like that. That was the entire ongoing arc between the Order of the Crimson Sigil, who were the protectors of Quinteligwyn, who's the princess. They were trying to protect her. They were trying to protect the Dire Stone. They were failing, and while they were getting killed left and right, Uller was saving them from the war, as it was ongoing. So that's in their bio.
Right, saving them, yes.
Yeah, that was that, and that's the thing. That's so you bring up something really important, Joe, and that's one of the things they wanted us to think about with Age of Annihilation is the effect of the timeline. You have these Valkyrie pulling people seconds from death. It may have saved them, but how did that affect the timeline on their planets back on home? And so he made, and Carmen encouraged us to think about that and what would affect how the worlds would be affected as a result of this war. And I was like, yeah, no, Phelan definitely got messed up a couple times, especially where they were pulling everybody out of that fight and they were saving everybody. And I'm like, that's not gonna do anything good in the future. But yeah, no, it's very, very connected to ongoing different media projects they had for the franchise when it was out. So
now
I like these entries.
I am interested. Some of these names here too. Are some of these part of what's called? It was a group of elves called. Was it the Nine? Right.
Yeah, the Order of the Crimson Sigil.
Right.
They was the 9 wizards that were tasked with defending the Dire Stone, and the princess was the carrier of the Dire Stone. She was trying to get away with it. Yeah, she was she was on Thericus, actually, the Grifflin. It was her and him. They were flying away and trying to get away from the wolves, but the wolves pulled them out of the sky right before they got summoned. So they don't know what happened to the Dire Stone. They disappeared before that they could see what happened, and yeah, the wolves were getting pulled into Valhalla as well during the same time. So it's a really odd war result, because all the victors, there was no victor of the war because everybody kept getting pulled out, and brought to Valhalla. So
I just realized this was totally not on purpose, but Therakus and Cyverus are right behind me on this map.
Nice. Yep. They're all connected
Yeah,
to this.
I see
That's
them.
awesome. But yeah, they Order of the Nine included, I think it was Jordan. It was Jordan, Arkmer, Olganesh, and oh my gosh, what Chargerus. Why I always forget Chargerus. I don't know why.
Chargerus.
He's the good one. Like he's the one. He's got the cool powers. But yeah, those are all part of the 9. We never got all 9 wizards though.
Right.
But we did have one for C3V, so that was cool that they did that.
Oh,
Hadouken.
I know you're talking about.
The
Yeah.
Duker.
Haddock, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, I know like the 9 is something that I want to explore into the future as well, because it's something that I'd like to tie into Tales of Valhalla itself, probably in the future.
That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found it very interesting. Now, do we know anything about Dorudian? This looks like someone who is a recruiter of heroes and armies. But
The emissary. No.
yeah.
They mentioned. So they actually mentioned that Jandar sent emissaries to Ular before he sent Thormun, and he never got word back on what happened to them. He said he had a vision that they were intercepted and killed. So that's why he was like, "All right, hey Thormun, I need you to go instead because these emissaries are getting hijacked on the road." And Dorudian was one of those emissaries. So Thormun was checking in and saying, "Hey, did you ever meet this emissary?" And Alar's like, "Nope, nobody came at the doorstep." So Jandar's vision was actually correct. Like what he saw in the future actually happened. Which one of those weird effects of the wellspring was that Jandar was able to predict the future at some points of the fight. And yeah, you can kind of see how that's messing things up too. Timeline shenanigans.
A time always.
I feel like
emotional.
this could have been an anthology series.
Oh, there was a lot of opportunity to write a large amount of information for this world.
Because like I just imagine like a series of short films of like all the different worlds, you know, and at the end of every single one, or not the end of it, but at some point during those ones, you see the people getting teleported away from Valhalla to Valhalla. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down.
Yeah, no, it's recorded on YouTube forever. So there you go.
For those that may not know, but you know, I actually tried to do a whole fan fiction on Heroscapers.com, like back in the day, mind you. This was years ago. But my entire theme was Icaria, and I was writing about what happened on the planet when the dragons left. And like I wrote an entire scenario regarding that, and it was crazy. Like the ideas I was getting, like I mean, because they revere the dragons as gods and kings. So I'm like, what if your entire government just disappeared and out of nowhere?
Sure.
Like you have, like it is absolute chaos. And I was like, I was writing that, and it was just really cool. Like there's so many ways you can take this series.
All the dragons came from the same planet.
Yep. Well, okay,
wow.
Before D&D was introduced.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the Heroscape dragons are from Icaria. D&D dragons are from their planets, but yeah.
Now,
Is Quohan the VC dragon? Is he from, or is she from Icaria?
I think they wanted to keep her in the same place because they were trying to do the whole dragon theme.
Yeah.
So I think they did make her come from Icaria as well. I think her
That makes
lord is from Icaria. I know the new dragon's from Icaria as well.
Oh,
The Ben
Calgary.
dragon?
The which one is it? The green.
Oh yeah.
The recent one that just came out. Why is the name escaping me?
Caligrith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cal.
yeah. Calidrith is from. They wrote Caligrith from Icaria.
See, I was thinking of the unreleased bone dragon.
Oh,
And
yes. Yeah, they had Nidhogg at ScapeCon. That was such a cool dragon to look at. I was like, oh no. I was like, I can't win enough.
we have Rogue Idealist in the chat saying, and hello Rogue Idealist, welcome to the stream in the chat. Says, I would love a slow burn series where the first season is just the characters fighting in their different worlds, and season 2 is where the Heroscape plot starts.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Somebody write a script. Come on, write a script.
Hey,
It takes time.
I brought this up in the pre-show before you joined, Joe, with Ryan and Jeremy, but the first adventure, thanks to you, rolling that idea out, is going to be based on what we're talking about right here with the elves and the wolves and the Crimson Sigil, actually. Like Kosu met, I believe in his bio, that's all it really talks about is that battle that was going on. So I'm going to try and write a little bit of that story, fill in the gaps a little bit for myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and before we wrap up this this journal entry, I was reading through this, and one thing about Silvaris saying that he is a Thilkian elf. What does that mean exactly? Do we know?
We have no idea. We never brought it up again. I think the general forum guess, because I did see some discussions about the subject back in the day. I think the forum guess was that it was like a tease on words for Tolkien, because it's supposed to be a direct reference to Lord of the Rings, but that's not confirmed by Craig or anybody, and that name just kind of appears and disappears. So
I'm not familiar.
I can't tell you what it means,
because I read Lord of the Rings often, and some other Tolkien's works. That doesn't seem familiar to me, but maybe there's a bigger Tolkien aficionado who might point it out. I know exactly what it is. Yeah.
The word Thilkian is supposed to be people read and think Tolkien, that's because it's supposed to.
So it's just a play on words. Gotcha.
Play on words. Referencing.
What is that called again? Anagram or whatever, Sudima, right? It switched the letters to Medusa. I wonder if it's like that.
Craig was very big about, he said it all the time. He said it in the podcast, and he said it on the forums. It is easier to copyright made up names. That's what he always said. So if you ever find a name that's how do you even say that? It's well, first of all, they made it so they could copyright it. That's why it exists. After that, it's all on you. Good luck, But yeah, a lot of the names in the series were made up from anagrams or made in reference to, the source materials. Especially a lot of the earlier stuff too. You can see the connection.
All right.
I remember you guys talking about Gruts last episode. That's one that's super unique, though. I've never heard that word anywhere before.
Yeah.
Except for
that's a very unique Craig name, which is pretty cool.
All right, and so before we close these journal entries, any other questions you guys have for this? Anything else? No, not much anything. All right. Well, then we will close this segment of reading Thormun's journal entries 15, 16, and 17, and definitely we'll do more in the future.